Well, what I love most about food and farming and all of this is I'm a participant in the passage of time. I'm a participant in the changing of the seasons. I'm there, I'm observing. You know, when the springtime comes around, I'm watching the ants, I'm watching the spiders, I'm listening to the birds, I'm looking for certain wild plants, when are they coming out? And it's just this feeling of being there, of being integrated, you know, whereas a lot of times there's this sense of separation, and people who don't have this experience might not understand what it means to participate in the coming of the spring, to participate in the summer, to taste the first quelites, to taste the first apple, you know, and not just the first apple from the season, but the first apple the tree ever produced, because you were there when the apple was this big. You know, that's profound. There's no language to describe that. To watch the baby spiders hatch and not fear them or try and kill them, but recognize that they're beneficial insects, that they have their role, that they are the grandmother spider, you know, and it's just this feeling of connection. It's awesome. And I wish everyone could have that, because it's, like I say, it's a homecoming. It's getting to know your Mother Earth. The only feeling I could describe is like when I was growing up, I lived here in Albuquerque, would play in the street, would, you know, ride my bikes and play with the kids in the neighborhood. Then in the summer, I would go to Taos. And the feeling I would get, I would roll into Taos, I could smell the alfalfa. I could smell the water in the acequia. I would approach my grandmother's house, I could smell chile and tortillas and frijoles. I would come into the house, and there was my grandma. And I would hug my grandma, and I wouldn't have seen her for a long time. And now my grandma's gone, you know, but I live in her house. And that's the feeling you get. You get the same feeling that you get when you're with your grandma, you know, and there's no one on earth like grandma. And now every time I'm there and I'm with it, and it's like, it's that same feeling, you know, it's my grandmother. It's this grandmother earth. And it's this sense of connection that once you have it, you'll never go back. You can't ignore it. It's homecoming. It's human being. You know, whereas nowadays most people are human doings, doing this, doing that. But to truly be human, I think that's what it feels like. Taking care of this earth, being a steward, having that feeling of being with your grandma. So that's what it is to me. And then what is my dream is that everybody could feel that we all have this sense of belonging to the earth, to the community, because the thing about this style of agriculture is you can't do it alone. Even if you have the highest tech tractor, all the greatest equipment, you know, all of the fancy tools, you still can't do it alone. You need a community to help you clean the acequias. You need people to help you harvest. You need a community to do it. And so then that's the sense of belonging. And that's what I want everyone to have. I want everyone to feel like they belong. They belong to a community. They belong to the earth. They are part of these cycles. You know, they have their place. And nowadays, there's a lot of despair in this earth. And I think that's what's missing, is we're kind of an amorphous life form, you know, floating around the earth, you know, looking for livelihood, looking for satisfaction, you know, but you can never truly get it unless you're there, unless you're with this earth, you're taking care of life forms. To me, that's what it is. I mean, I measure my success by how many different living things are benefiting from what I'm doing. It's not just about the corn and the beans and the garlic and all the stuff I'm planting. Again, the spiders, the birds, the bats, the bees, you know, the butterflies, the dragonflies, all of the organisms that I see coming. And then there's a flip side of that too. Some of these guys need to be managed, because I mean, this garden is to sustain us. So, you know, not everybody is welcome to take everything. But at the same time, you know, being able to provide. If a raccoon or a skunk comes and takes the corn, then I'm like, Well, they took the best corn because they're not going to waste their time with second best, and they're only taking the top third. So why don't I recognize their role and their value, and then I'll take that corn at the end of the season, and that can be my seed stock.